Hello, hola, hola. Good morning, buenos días desde
Hello.
Santiago de Chile to Germany and the US. Frank as Jake Livgren. It's an honor and a pleasure to be talking to you and finally having this meeting.
Same to you.
Same to you. Thanks for having us.
Okay, so how are things going there?
Here in Germany or over there in Kansas?
I'm in Santiago. I suppose Jake is somewhere in the United States, Central US,
Right in
as
the dead center.
Yeah.
Topanga? No, no. I've been reading
Close.
about.
Topanga
Wait,
is California.
yeah,
Uh,
sorry, you're right.
to,
I don't know where I
Yeah.
read Topanga, but anyway. So, good morning again. It's a big deal for me, and congrats for Legacy Pilots, and hats off for the fantastic music that I just discovered, I must say, a few months ago. It's a shame because I think that the first album came in 2018, and I found Frank's vocals, the texture of your voice, Frank, very interesting. It brings some airs of an artist I admire really a lot, who's David Sylvian, a little bit Iva Davis. I'm not comparing, but it's just what it brings to me. And even Chris Rea, I'm sure you know Chris Rea, who's a big talent.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I know them all. And
Yeah,
but by the way, so you're not the first one comparing my voice to David Sylvian. I'm a
really.
huge David Sylvian fan, you know. So
Oh,
I'm a huge one since decades. Japan, David Sylvian, everything he brought to the market together with Ryuichi Sakamoto, for example. I'm a huge Sakamoto fan. That's one of the reasons why I have on the latest record also these Japanese voices, which is a tribute to the late Sakamoto, actually. So no, I mean it's not that I mimic him, but he has been an absolutely influence when it comes to vocals on me because I do not have a very powerful voice. It's the opposite to Jake. Jake has an amazing voice, an amazing powerful voice, and I'm more in for the calmer things, you know. So and to repeat myself here, you're not the first one have comparing me to David Sylvian, which I really like,
yeah,
definitely.
he's really huge. Yeah.
Frank's voice is so different from mine that it's a cool change of pace every time you hear it, one and
Uh-huh.
then the other. I
Uh-huh.
think I think
Yeah,
you're underrated. I think you underrate yourself, Frank.
I agree. I agree totally. Yeah, I agree. Well, uh-huh. Go ahead, Frank.
Just accept the compliment and we'll move on.
Yeah. I do, of course. Yes. I'm very grateful for that, and so I'm doing what I can do. So it wouldn't make any sense to be a shouter like Geddy Lee or try to do what Jake is accomplished. So he could sing every single Kansas track on this planet.
You know what I can't do though? I
Um,
can't do what you do.
you could
I
probably,
have
most
no,
probably.
I have very little power uh down low. I past a certain range, you might as well have someone else do the work. I have no I have unlimited powers of projection from a certain range up, and as soon as you go below that, like I just turn into a little mouse. I admire
Mm,
I really when I see like a video of a cappella groups or whatever, the one that gets my goosebumps, going is the bass. That's what really impresses me because that's something I cannot do. So that's I appreciate it.
okay. So
Well, yeah, the first song that I ever found by the Legacy Pilots is one I really love, and one where I think Frank's vocals come perfectly in, and that's Heaven Must Know. Uh, what a great song that is. And
thank you.
some people
Mhm.
say that it has a silky quality, and it's very elegant and very classy, and it's very interesting the way you have approached progressive rock, so to speak, because it's a much wider range than just progressions and long pieces, and that's what I love about the band. By the way,
Yeah.
I think we, the three of us, are making a little mistake here. I haven't introduced you. Maybe you could do it. I mean, Frank, us, and Jake Livgren. You have interesting stories, but I think that not many people, as should, know Legacy Pilots, and that's a shame, really. But it's as I see it, it's from my corner. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, because I have several questions about the stories.
Jake, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm Jake Livgren. I'm a singer and I play instruments, generally not in the studio because there's just lots and lots of people that are better at everything else. And I am part of the Livgren family, if you recognize that name. And I see that you do. I see something down in the corner over there.
Yeah.
Point
of
might
no
actually
return.
be,
Yeah.
is that the same one I've got up there? Nope, it's not.
Oh,
My uncle gave me that.
Which one is that?
I think that's a left overture platinum.
Yes.
And a picture I keep in honor of him there. Anyways, he is my uncle. He's the guitarist and keyboardist, main songwriter for Kansas, the original lineup. And basically, I grew up. He lived in Atlanta and we lived in Kansas. That's a long ways away. And so as a kid, I didn't really get to know him. I knew him more through his music and staring at pictures on the backs of album covers and stuff. And then I got to see him maybe once, twice a year if I was lucky. And my parents sent us on a vacation to stay with them a few times. But he was more of a hero than anything else. And just I felt so honored to be part of that same family. And then as I got into and I have always been a singer. My grandma on my mom's side used to, sit and play Disney show tunes and stuff for us as kids. And my sisters would sit and sing along, and I would sit over here with my GI Joes in the corner and laugh at them. But secretly I was singing along and thinking, this might be something I'd want to do. So I eventually gave in and started doing it, found out I was okay at it, and was doing like local musical theater and stuff like that. And then when I turned, I think I was in 9th grade, I went down for a vacation at Kerry's, and he was in the middle of recording When Things Get Electric. I don't know how familiar you are with his solo stuff, but he was kind of in the early stages of that. And he just kind of in passing asked me, well, what do you like to do? What do you do with your free time and stuff? Well, I said, well, I've been doing a lot of singing. He's, oh, singing, really? Well, how would you like to come sing for me? And I'm 9th grade, that's what, 13, 14. And so at that point, just hearing those words was just like surreal. And so he took me down to the studio, showed me everything, played me the tracks and everything. He's like, here, sing this. Gave me the line and had me sing it. And from that point on, it was just this relationship that was completely natural. It went really well. He kept my 15-year-old vocals on that album. Teenager, I sound like a baby when I hear that stuff now, but my voice has changed quite a bit. But from that point on, I mean, I knew that was what I wanted to do. I knew I was a musician too, and that he showed me that it's something that you can do realistically if you have the ability. I just always saw it as something I would never ever experience, or it was just beyond me. Well, he showed me that I could do it too, and it inspired me. And from that point on, I've done nothing but be in bands, and I sang for him on his solo stuff and in proto-kaw, the band that we had in the 2000s. And it's just, he set me on a path that has gone on ever since, and taught me a lot about studio technique and songwriting nuance and arranging background vocals and just all kinds of things. That and just being inspired by the other music I listen to. Frank will probably agree with me that I bring this annoying Jake quality to anything that someone wants to collaborate, and I guess it's turned out okay for us. But usually, I want to bring like this sort of vocal harmony heavy flavor to anything that I'm given. It was the same thing with the other band I'm in, Emerald City Council. I was always pushing to put more, you know, power pop, more Queen, more of the heavy vocal stuff in whatever I'm working on. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, Frank. I didn't mean to hijack that, but
All good, all good. It will be cut out anyhow.
Yeah, you're gonna go in later and make sure that gets cut out. Anyways, I'm rambling, but that's a little bit about my story. So I'm really happy. I'm glad that in my 40s I'm still able to be an active, you know, participant in the music industry, and very honored to still get offers and get to collaborate with people. And so I'm in a really happy place with that right now.
Just ask Mick Jagger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no age for
Yep.
good music, I guess.
No.
No. And what about Mr. Frank? Yeah.
A bit about my history. Yeah, sure. Nothing spectacular when I was a child or very young. So we all listened early to music, and we all had the idea and dream of making music. And so I started playing in amateur bands, really amateurish, I have to say. If I'm listening to these kind of recordings when I was 13, 14, 15, something like that, it's amateurish, period. So so that is so. But I always dreamed of making music an essential part of my life. So I continued working on that. So then I studied art at the art school. So this is also a part of my background. So that's one of the reasons why I'm able to do all the graphics, the covers, the videos, all this stuff. This is also what I'm doing there. This is part of the legacy pilot world I'm very much into. And while I was studying, I had played in local bands, which had, to a certain extent, a kind of professional touch, because everyone really know what to do with their instruments. So, but of course, no success. Just local bands playing in a club here, playing in a club there. So, but this doesn't brought me any further in terms of that. Then I went on my normal job, working in an advertising agency, and my side business was making music for companies, jingles, industrial films, even in the World Expo in Sevilla. So I did my contribution to the German what they have at the World Expo, for example. And I did this for quite some time, actually. So, and I always made music. So I have also a history in making music. Don't laugh about it, but in the new contemporary and easy listening, which is definitely the opposite of what I'm doing nowadays. So, but it took quite some time to come home where my musical heart is. So this is the reason why I came pretty late to the game, and doing what always was inside myself. I don't know if I have better words for that, but that's actually the music I always was into. But you know, in the late 80s or mid 80s to the late 90s, no one was really interested in progressive rock or art rock. So that changed.
Thanks, punk.
Yeah, thank you, punk, and other music. So and then everyone was more into the speed oriented stuff and techno and you know, this doesn't resonate with me. So I'm really, I have to say, you can call me old school, but I'm really into the music of the early 70s. So I'm not saying that I'm not into pop music, and I think there has been some very good stuff in the 80s. And being a Queen fan long time, it is also I have a rather broad range and variety and music I like, but the core of my mindset is art rock / progressive rock.
Yeah, in fact, Frank and Jake, I have a point here. What albums, I mean, bands always come to mind when you want to enjoy the best of yesterday's music still sounding loud today? In my case, Genesis, you know, yes, the usual thing. But there are so many bands from Europe that we never got to hear here, especially in Chile. If you have to go to the island situation, what three bands or albums would you always want to have with you, Jake and Frank?
Oh.
Not easy.
Man.
I mean, you have already mentioned the usual suspects.
Yeah.
So to me, it's as you said, Genesis. Of course, I have a very private relationship to the guys anyhow. So this was later on something I could really enjoy, that the music of my youth, that I was lucky enough to meet all these guys. And so Genesis, of course, yes, you mentioned ELP, very much up there, of course. I'm completely into that. And I have to say, and this is not because of Jake, so it's, but we really heard Kansas a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Point of No Return and Left Chauffeur and so on. So I have them all. Yeah. So that's yeah. And if you would ask for a specific title for a specific album, and if I can only choose one album, it would be Tarkus.
Yeah,
definitely Tarkus. So that's to me the epitome of progressive rock. There was and is nothing like that. Definitely not in my perception, in my view, of course. Jake, your turn.
Man. Okay. I would say Toto, the seventh one.
Pamela.
That's my favorite band. I was raised on progressive and I love a lot of it, but when I reached I had an awakening at about 19 to a genre that I didn't even know existed. I was heavily into Dream Theater, and I think that might have been right before I got into Spock's Beard and stuff like that. But my guitarist at the time introduced me to power pop. He played me. I'll never forget this night. This might be one of the last few things I think about on my deathbed was this night. We were in a band that was practicing about an hour away, and so we were driving at night to practice, and he's like, "Man, you got to hear this. I've been listening to this, and I've been waiting to play it for you. You just be quiet and just listen to this." And he puts on "Spilt Milk" by Jellyfish.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with the album, but it comes in with this Queen just blasting lullaby vocals, and it just knocked me on my ass right off the bat. I mean, and then it comes in with the power, the second song is power rock. I mean, that thing just blew my mind. I wasn't into anything like that, and so I'd probably have to put that as number 2, and then oh man,
anything classical?
I'll default classical music or classic rock?
Classical. No, yeah, in my case, Stravinsky.
Uh, wow. That's not a thing I listen to like on purpose a lot, but anytime I find myself in a position where it's on, I will just I zero in on it. I love, oh man, so many. Tchaikovsky, Ravel. I can't even, it probably wouldn't be my desert island, but I was going to say the thing I always default to because it's just mind blowing from start to finish is Paul McCartney, All the Best. I know that's cheap to do a best of album, but every single thing on that album is amazing to me. So a little bit different answer, I guess.
That's the idea. Very good, very interesting. Yeah, because that's what I think that an interesting band like Legacy Pilot has a little bit of everything, and that's what makes it so special. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, by the way, where does the name come? The name of the band, Legacy Pilots. Simple question, but still intriguing.
Yeah, I mean the project itself. I started. The idea was to preserve the heritage of progressive rock, which is quite a goal, actually. So you could say, who's that guy from Germany, and he wants to preserve the heritage of progressive rock. Who's he? But that was the idea at the beginning of. So that was also the trigger was that in a certain time period, there was nearly every month one of my heroes gone. It started with Chris Squire from Yes, which really hit me out of the shoes. Then it was Greg Lake, John Wetton. Yeah, I mean these three guys, all fantastic bass players and great singers. And then my all-time favorite, Keith Emerson and David Bowie, you name it. You know, there was a point in time where where it suddenly started that all my heroes are passed away, and the best way for me to work or to get along with that was starting my own progressive project. So that was the reason why I started it, actually. And then I found, and then you search for a name, you know, and the name should reflect to a certain extent what's the reason behind. And you know, pilots should be very reliable persons. Better is.
We would hope.
Yeah, and steering such a legacy is a serious task, I would say. So that's the reason why I was serious about it. And the pilots should be really musicians, artists who are able to do so, being serious about it. So this I don't know if it explains where it's coming from, and but this was what I had in mind, actually.
Yeah, and I have to say, Frank, my humble opinion is that you really reach high altitude. Really, I say it from the heart because I've been really impressed by the music of Legacy Pilots that I've been just checking in the last 3 months or so, and I think I realized I've missed lots of incredible new good music because I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed when I saw all the many bands that started coming out, but I couldn't find any things that could make a click on me because I come from the same legacy you come from, like fantastic music of all the people you just mentioned. So I really think that you've made a difference. I say it very honestly, Legacy Pilots. So that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And no, please, and the very meaningful presence of such guests as Steve Morse, Marco Minemann, Todd Suchermann, John Mitchell, whose voice I really love. I didn't discover Lonely Robots too long ago, and it's fantastic. Well, Jake, of course, Pete Trewavas, Stephen Rothery, whom I could personally meet here in Santiago, Chile. So this speaks that Legacy Pilots is making quality music no matter what. So how did you manage to conform such a notorious list? And does it make touring ever possible? I think it doesn't.
So these are, I start with the answer to the first question, right?
Please, sorry.
So there is no, all fine. It's the history of why I have contact to these guys is relatively simple. I worked beside my music career for decades for companies doing studio technology, studio software. I was very much involved and developing these kind of technology, and I am a kind of exclamation marks specialist in terms of these recording software. And it started decades ago when a call from Phil Collins came in.
Oh.
And he needed some assistance to work with Cubase. So this is one of the favorite DAWs out there. And so I went down to his house in Switzerland, and I explained and showed him how to deal with the software. And out of that, a kind of very nice relationship, a friendship between Phil and myself appeared over the years. And later on, not, because he has to deal with some, about his struggles and so on. So but nevertheless, I saw him last time, maybe close to 2 years ago, and we have been very, very happy to see us again. Anyhow, from that point in time, I started to supporting many musicians and the progressive scene, and so we became friends over the years. So Marco Minemann is a friend of mine. Stephen Rothery, Trewavas, they are all guys I know very well, and we are friends. John Mitchell, Todd Suchermann is such a nice guy, is such a nice person. They are all extremely nice person. Steve Morse, he's one of the friendliest guys you can come across. Amazing. Trewavas, they all fantastic. And of course Jake and my other friends over here in Germany. So there's a quite fantastic relationship between us, and we are friends.
Oh, I love the fact that we can have long chat conversations about nothing about music, just about, lots of other things. We have other things in common that I won't mention because it's not appropriate. But yeah, I love that. I love the friendship. It's just a bonus in the whole situation.
Right. Absolutely. And coming to your question about touring, yeah, that's difficult to nearly impossible, because every one of my friends is in their own bands and touring the world. One is in Canada, the other the US, England. So they are always on tour, and getting them together is nearly impossible. Saying this, I'm working right now, at least trying to get a couple of guys together for a one-off show this October. I keep my fingers crossed that this will be possible. But it's really, really tough to get musicians together who has a certain quality and level. And if they have these quality and a certain level, they don't have the time. So it's really, really not that easy to get a band together playing Legacy Pilots music live on stage. But I do hope I can make this happen. But it's not final yet. We'll see.
Yeah, it brings to mind one of my favorite Steve Hackett albums, Please Don't Touch, which was very difficult that he could take it on tour. You have these fantastic guests, Randy Crawford being one of them, in one of the most incredible songs he made.
Steve Walsh is on there, and
yes.
Richie Havens, and of course.
Fantastic, yeah.
Sure.
Now, I was going to ask Jay, how did you become, because I think that you have something to do with filmmaking. Am I wrong? I don't think so.
Not as much as I'd like, but yeah.
Have you ever written music for film or TV, or how did you become involved or interested?
I mean, I'm a lifelong film geek. I love film. It was basically just a random trip to the counselor's office at when I was starting college. And it was a terrible decision. She was like, well, you got two paths you can take. You can either do, and I was like 33 or something at the time, 31, and already had a family and everything. So I was doing this just because it was the thing that you didn't feel complete without doing back in those days with, you know, to go to college. Um, and so I didn't really have a purpose. I was just going because it was the thing to do. And she said, well, you can take two paths. You can either do something that you think is really going to be good for your future and be lucrative and make you a lot of money, or you can do something that's interesting to you that you love. And of course, with my personality, I was like, ooh, what do I love? And so she gave me a list of things, and I said, oh, they have a film program. So I ended up doing a film major in college, it turned out I was really pretty good at it right off the bat. But I've done basically nothing with it since then, and I should have known from the beginning. It's not a thing that you can, especially in Kansas, you can't really do much with it. The best you can hope for is probably doing commercials or, you know, something like that. But I do like to do it, and it's really fun. I've done some music videos. I actually probably the highest profile thing I did was I got to direct a music video for Doug Pinnick on one of his solo albums, the bassist and singer for King's X, who is another hero of mine. Boy, it's hard not to put a King's X album on the Desert Island list. But anyways, he trusted me with that project, even though I was really early on in the process, and I worked real hard on it, and he was happy with it. So that was pretty fun. But I haven't really done a lot with it. I've been focusing mostly on music for a good decade, and not doing much else. So yeah, I love it, and I do it. But shoot, Frank's way better at it than I am. His stuff blows me away. This last music video that we did together, wow, that's just a whole other level. I don't mean to jump the gun on that topic. I don't know if you were going to go there.
No,
But
Jake, if you could think of one movie, I'm also a film fan, big one, and maybe you would like to make the music score to a movie that's already there, which is, you know, what many people do from Nosferatu, the Murnau version, the silent version onwards. And they've made fantastic things like Univers Zero. I don't know if you know the French band. They, you know, what movie would you like to make music for? The Exorcist, for example. Now that
The
you were
Exorcist.
involved, yeah, you were involved with this musical that we are going to talk later about.
Oh yes, yes. God, what a question. Well, that's not one you can be prepared for. Uh, hmm.
No, because the
I,
genre.
well, I would
Yeah.
I would think that it would need to be something, um, you know, like a big drama, something with huge scope, and you know, something like Oppenheimer, or you know, I didn't love that movie, but that was a huge movie. It was a huge undertaking, and something like that where the impact of the music on the film would be of great importance. You know,
Mhm.
it's not going to be something that you would just let go by. John Williams obviously is an obvious choice, but I can't imagine that you could name a more influential composer of the last 100 years. I mean, yeah, is his stuff going to be looked at in the same breath as you know, Beethoven or Bach or people like that? I don't know, probably not, but he's had a huge cultural impact on this world and as far as music goes, maybe more so than even the Beatles. I don't, he's probably up there, because think about how many huge movies that he's scored, and I can't imagine that more people on this planet have heard anyone else's music than his, because even if you don't listen to music, you still probably watch Star Wars or Indiana Jones or ET or any, you know, just the list goes on and on.
Mhm.
But I mean, he's a huge hero of mine too. So yeah,
Yeah.
something like what he does.
All right. Now, let me tell you a little thing. I was very impressed to see a big arena here in Santiago, a full house place with people our age, but also the sons and daughters of and possibly grandchildren attending the Porcupine Tree Show some time ago, like 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I was really, because I interviewed Stephen Wilson back in 1996 when I was playing his records on radio here. And do you have a notion of how the Legacy Pilots fan base is confirmed? Like what kind of people are following legacy pilots?
The only way to find out about the audience is actually if I'm looking at the Spotify
Statistics.
Statistics, right? Spotify statistics. So that's the only way. And I have to admit that really young people are not into legacy pilots. This might be also because they don't know about the project. But overall, this kind of music is kind of an adult music, so to speak. And the majority of listeners of legacy pilots are 40 up, 40, 50 years, above 60, and so on. It looks like that people feel reminded by the music they heard when they were young and enjoyed for that reason legacy pilots. So yeah, so that's the only statistic I can see. And while we are at statistic, and you might be interested in that, is the funny aspect of it. So the majority of people listening to legacy pilots according to Spotify are based in the US. But do you know the capital city? Which is the city which has the most legacy pilots listener?
Mm-hmm.
Santiago de Chile.
Oh,
wow!
Believe it or not,
that's pretty cool.
Believe it or not, but I was also astonished. And yeah, in South America, anyhow. So from Argentina, Mexico, and so on. That's yeah. Interesting. South America seems to be very much into these kind of music.
Yeah, we have lots of progressive rock fans here. I've seen it myself because I've been amazed because we haven't had the chance to see many prog bands. We could luckily see Emerson, Lake and Palmer a couple of times, Rick Wakeman, I don't know, but not many of them. So when this Porcupine Tree show took place, I couldn't believe it because I said, well, I first spoke to Steven Wilson back in '96, but yeah, it's like 20 something years after that. But I can't believe how many people, I mean, how quickly the whole thing spread around, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He has a more modern approach, I would say, and has also some metal influences in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So beside Barbieri, who is then again an old friend of David Sylvian, so this is where the circle is closing. So they were together in Japan, for example. So Barbieri brought in some completely different sounds, but Stephen himself is brought some metal in. And I do believe South America is very much into metal, like Metallica and Rush when they went down there, for example.
And Iron Maiden, yeah.
And Iron Maiden, and those.
Yeah, there's an even live in Chile Iron Maiden album. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have big hordes of fans here. Now, can progressive sound regressive? I remember I had the very lucky chance to speak about this with Fish, who visited us at the radio station back here at Futuro FM back in '96 when he came for a couple of shows, and we were discussing regressive against progressive. I'm not sure if the younger generations don't find these long suites like the Legacy Pilot suites or Genesis Supper's Ready, if they find them difficult to follow, because I think younger generations are more anxious now. They are used to multiple choices on the platforms and rather short pieces of music. I don't know how you see those things, Jake and Frank.
Jake, go ahead.
Well, I have teenage children, so I can probably speak to the reality of these things right now. And you're right, I don't know that I have ever heard my kids listen to an album. I don't think that, I mean, they know that's the format, but they certainly don't consume music that way. And it's so strange. It's like so many albums are a journey, like a certain, oh God, I don't know how to describe it, but there's ups and downs and twists and turns, and there's, you know, the way one song affects the other or goes into the other, or the things that you feel are you know, completely flipped on their head by the next song, and just so many things that an album can do as a format that they just don't even understand. They don't know about it, and they don't, you know, they don't write, the artists now, they don't really write music that way anymore. I'm extremely disenfranchised with the direction of music, and that's not to say that there are not exceptions. Always, even in popular music, my daughter finds new things that impress me. And there's been times when I found myself completely addicted to albums by artists from right now, because there's good stuff out there, but it's definitely light years away from progressive. I mean, I wonder if there isn't a place inside, you know, a decent percentage of kids that yearns for something more substantive, you know, musically, and they just don't know it exists because there's nothing contemporary that would ever lead them to it. And it's really sad. I don't know what to do about it. Maybe it'll just naturally come back around to where the artists of the day will start to make more music like that. I mean, most things go in cycles, so it's not out of the question, but it is. It's different. I don't know how you would successfully cross over and break into the younger market. It's just so dominated by, you know, being cool, you know, looking a certain way.
Yeah, visual aspect, yeah.
America's just awful. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but we and the UK have the most superficial music audiences. I'm always blown away by, like you said, the bands that are able to fill stadiums in Japan and, you know, a lot of countries in Europe and South America, but no one has heard of them here. I could go out, I could find 500 people, random people in my city, and ask them if they've heard of Porcupine Tree. I bet I'm the only one out of 500. And that is so disappointing because, wow, they're amazing. I
Yeah.
turned my godfather onto them and it became his favorite band. This is a guy my parents' age, had never heard of him, and I turned him on and it changed his life. So you just never know who's out there that if you play them some Legacy Pilots or Porcupine Tree or whatever, it might send them on a whole new path.
Well, you know
what I
that,
mean?
yes, Stephen Wilson is a big music fan himself. Every time I get see his interviews, he's with something similar with what I have on my back, with a shelf full of records, and he's a big Kate Bush fan, which is also my case. So
Yeah.
it's interesting, and he has this many different parallel projects, Base Communion, No Man, which are also great. So yeah, it's a special case. Now, how easy or difficult it's been to move the progressive rock ship, so to speak, in today's extremely diverse music scene, and how does the market work for independent bands like Legacy Pilots? Bandcamp and similar platforms are a great thing to find. So, what's your vision of that, Frank and Jake?
In my case, it's what I'm doing is pure luxury, you know. What I'm earning with that music is just to cover the cost, and that's only because I'm taking care on producing. I do the mixing, I do the design, cover, videos, I doing everything on my own, and that my friends don't take any money from me. If that would come on top of the other costs I have for the production, I would be deeply in red figures. So it's not a business anymore. So there are bands out there who can make a living out of that, but no, I couldn't with that. So and as I said, it's luxury. I make my money with in the studio business, software industry world, and this is just my passion, so to speak. So I'm I would be happy if the audience could grow. I mean, the audience have been grown over the last. I started the project in 2018, and we have produced already 5 full albums, which is quite a number, actually. And I'm working on the next anyhow. So if we could broaden the audience for the project itself, it would be very much welcome. But it's not that easy nowadays to make any revenue with that. You know, every day there will be 200,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day. And you can have thousands and thousands of streams at Spotify, but you don't get any money for that. It's a joke. It's really, really a joke. You could question, why are we on Spotify? Yeah. But so you always carry the hope in your heart that someone comes across our music just because he's at Spotify. So that's the main reason for that. But creating revenue, serious money with that, tough thing. It's absolutely not that. It's not that easy. And this is the opposite with Bandcamp, actually. And people are really music enthusiasts. So they have a passion for music and they are willing to pay for a CD at Bandcamp. And they even pay more than the price tag is saying, for example. So without these guys at Bandcamp, the project would be close to impossible. So that's really a difference between Bandcamp and streaming sources like Spotify, for example.
Now, what are your views, Jake? I know that you started making your own records, I think in the mid-90s, and have been a guest on big guys albums like from Steve Morse, you know, Kansas, Jabberwocky, is that one?
Proto-kaw. That was my band in the 90s, and original stuff. We wrote a lot more than we got to record, but I would say a little different take on
Frank's
his answer. I feel like I might be one of the last people or a person from the last crop of aspiring musicians to have been completely left in the dust by the world and technology. And when we came up, all of us, there was a template for how to succeed in music. And we know what that is. It was, you know, write music, have a band, develop it, get better at it, make a demo, get that demo into the right hands. And then as soon as that happens, all you have to do is worry about making more good music or playing good shows, you know, or whatever the label and your handlers or whatever, you know, your entourage, your people told you needed to do next. Well, the template was thrown out the window right about the middle of my aspiring career. All of a sudden, everything I knew about how to succeed in music just disappeared, and there was a whole new way. And so the kids of today's generation, they've come up in an age where they know a completely different path, and they know all of the steps of what it takes to get there. Well, we don't know anything about that stuff. And if we do, it means that we've been ultra diligent, which Frank is a very diligent guy. I'm easily distractible. And so I don't have the level of proliferation that my heroes like Frank do. I mean, it's just amazing how they're constantly coming. Neil Morse, also somebody that's just, these guys come up with new stuff all the time. It blows my mind. Kerry is that way too. It's not me. And so I don't spend my whole day, you know, researching how to do analytics and what's the best way to get viral and just all of the things it takes to make it in the industry now, on any level. So I kind of just do what I know. And luckily I've got my name out there enough to where really great people come and offer me chances to do things. And I just count myself lucky because, you know, today's the path for success today is just a mystery to me. I mean, I know kind of generally how it's done, but I don't know the way to, you know what I'm saying? It's different now to sum that up. Yeah.
Now, do you have any special moments or particular recollections, like when you had a very great time? I think it was like in the musical Jesus Christ, The Exorcist, which name at first I thought, what is this? I said. And you also have mentioned the Morse Fest in 2018.
Yeah. That was one of that might be one of my favorite weeks of my life, to be honest. I don't think I'll have anything to top that. It was hanging out with heroes, meeting heroes, and then having my heroes go on and on about me, which is just, to me, that's just
Surreal.
ridiculous and surreal. Yeah, I have a little bit of imposter syndrome, if you know what that means. I'm like, what am I doing standing here with these guys? And then they're just like telling me how blown away they are by what I have done or what I'm doing, and I'm like, I can't. This does not compute. But that was amazing. I remember particularly, I was so nervous. Oh crap, I'm blanking on his name. The drummer / singer for Spock's Beard. Of course, what a hero, since I can't think of his name. Help me out, somebody.
It will come. It will come.
Yeah, it will come. Anyways, gosh darn it. Anyhow, I was so nervous to meet him because he was the drummer on my favorite album of all time, which is Shaming of the True by Kevin Gilbert. Does that help? No.
Yeah, okay. I remember Kevin Gilbert. Yeah.
Yes. Darn it. This is embarrassing. Sorry. Forgetting. Anyways, I was shaking because he couldn't be there till like the second or third night of rehearsal. And I had already met all these great guys, but I was like, whoa, I can't believe I'm going to meet him. And then he turns out to be like the nicest guy and just became friends. And we're sitting around after rehearsal, drinking beers by the fire. And it's just, man, that weekend was so amazing. Yeah.
Could it be Jimmy Keegan or Nick DiVirgilio?
Nick DiVirgilio, thank you.
Yeah. He came, I think Nick came with Roland Orzabal of Tears for Fears, which I love Tears for Fears.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. They came here back in '96 with Roland Orzabal. Yeah.
That was what he was doing, I think, pretty much right after he worked with Kevin. Yeah. Tears for Fears.
And I still remember I was given the chance to interview Kevin Gilbert until what happened, which I was so sorry about. And I love his projects too. Now, Frank, Don't Chase the Rainbows, as I read the other day from Through the Lens, your latest album, number 5, belongs to what you call a film category video. Is that so? It's a special series of videos?
No, what I try to say with that is that I'm doing always videos for the albums out there, because people sometimes, I mean, you have explained it already. I mean, in the early days, we came together with friends and we listened together with friends just to music. This is not the case anymore, and no one has the time. So going a bit off track right now, no one has the time. So as you might heard about it, that they start producing music in the meantime that the chorus, the hook line, starts in the very first 10 seconds, because otherwise it will be swiped away. It's
you lose their attention.
There is no attention to that. So young people have no attention. So do I like it? No, I don't. Next. It's the Instagram generation. They don't have the time. So, and does people are listening to music if they don't know the band or the song? I don't think so. And video sometimes is helping to catch interest, to grow the interest into that, and sometimes the visuals helping transport also the message of the video. And if I'm talking about a series of videos, that was just the series of videos I have contributed to the latest album, Through the Lens. So there was these these enormous video where Jake is also singing the Cosmic Sea. So it's a 10 to 12 minutes video, and it's a huge track. And I started on that video just say, okay, I want to make a couple of sections out of that huge song, and then I forgot myself in there. So the next section, and next section, and next section, it didn't stop. It didn't stop. So I did the full song, the full blown song as a video. And same is true for the track with Todd Suchermann, The Professor and Me, which is also above 10 minutes. So so we did that. That is more about what we are playing, so people can see what we are playing. And talking about Todd Suchermann, what he is playing there is not from this world, period. It's not from this world. So people have to see that. People have to see that. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm doing music videos there. So, and I made that, then Cosmic Sea, then of course Don't Chase the Rainbows, and so there are, and I have to stop. So I can't make for each and every song a video. It's impossible timing wise. So, and when I'm saying that, so this is a series of videos, then it just belongs to that album, saying, okay, these are the 4 or 5 videos we could make, and this is it. So, and the last one, is Don't Chase the Rainbows, which I don't know if I can say that I like very much.
Yeah, it's a great video. And by the way, you chose black and white. I suppose there's some special meaning to black and white on your choice.
Yeah, it has very often these, how should I phrase that, these classy style, and the song itself is a bit, how should I phrase it, wouldn't call it maybe romantic, but it has a deep meaning to me.
Yeah, like transcends, the black and white transcends time. I mean, yes, that's what it does.
Yeah, so and actually I also like movies from the 60s, and so color can be wonderful, but black and white sometimes gives another attitude to that. So, and that's the reason why I have chosen black and white for this. The funny thing is, the rainbow is very colorful, and I have chosen black and white. So that's that's also rather the opposite, but it felt very natural to me.
Well, there's an enigma that listeners should investigate. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, could you introduce your newest listeners, especially those from here, from Santiago, Chile, or Chile in general, and followers to Lisa, which is the singer on your recent Through the Lens album? I think she's made a difference, and she's causing lots of attraction.
We have 2 Lisas on the album. One Lisa is with As. This is the daughter of Jake. Actually, she sings on the chorus of Cosmic Sea, and she's Lisa with an S, written with an S. So
not quite.
Not?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jake. What? Oh, what?
Close. You're close. You got 2 of 4. 2 of the 4 letters are correct. It's actually Lyda, Lyda.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I know you know that.
I know
Okay,
that.
cut.
Lyda. I'm sorry. Cut.
Roll that back.
Roll that back. Sorry. Of course. No, I know that she's Lyda. Of course, I know that. No. Okay. I'm sorry for that.
It's okay.
So
let's talk about.
Trust me, she's used to it.
So we talk about Lisa. Lisa is a very talented actress. She is a dubbing artist for films here in Germany, and she has a huge passion for music. And she's my daughter.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, we have daughters
She's also
on this.
we have daughters on this.
Yeah.
But she's not singing there because she's my daughter, but because she has a beautiful voice.
She does.
That's the reason. So it's nothing else than that. Of course, I love her so much that it hurts, but to be honest, if she couldn't sing, she wouldn't sing on the album.
Yeah, like my son is not going to be on an album. I'll just say that.
So, and we did work in the past together, but this time, I think on the album before, she has a complete song. So, Postcards is the song where she's singing it completely. But nevertheless, on this album, she shines even more. And or she, or maybe I'm, we got a very, very, very good feedback, and it definitely feels right. So, and there's probably no reason in the world why we shouldn't continue working together, because our voices obviously work very well together. That's looks like that, at least. Yeah.
Yes. And the other Lisa, there's another Lisa, as I heard. Yes.
No, this was my mistake, Lydia.
I'm sorry.
And and that's the daughter of Jake, and she has a wonderful voice as well. Jake,
she does.
Go ahead.
Yes. Oh yeah, no. She's not the focused one that I was at her age. The problem is she has too many talents. She doesn't know which one to do at any given time. She's an amazing painter, cook, actress, singer, all of these things, and I can't pin her down to to do anything. It's hard to get her. I'm like, do you want to come be in a video? And she's like, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe cooking.
I'm like, yeah. After I get done with this, I'll come do that. But if she did want to focus on her singing, she could do anything she wanted to. And she's got a great talent for makeup and costumes and things. She's very inspired by some of the artists of today who do big productions with everything they do, you know, not from the day of like we are, where it was just look however you look and be really good, and that's all it takes to make it.
yeah, and do it quickly. Do it quickly.
Yeah. It's different today, but yeah. No, she's amazing. I would love to see her do more, but we'll see.
Yeah. So what's what's next for the Legacy Pilots and Jake Livgren solo or within the Pilot company? You know what's next?
What, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, it's let me phrase it like that. After the album is before the album.
Yeah.
So I can't stop making music. It's that simple. And the process of composing and creating new stuff is this stuff which I love most about it. Getting all the stuff together later on takes quite some time. Getting all the musicians organized, and then producing and editing and mixing and mastering takes most of the time. And I love the most part of it I love is really composing. So, and this is why I have the joy right now that I'm starting working on new material. I already told Jake that I'm working on a little track which has already 15 minutes. So he knows that he has to sing something in the foreseeable future. We will work on this together. So yeah, but that's what I can say is that I can't stop making music. I can't. I have to continue doing music and night and day, and so that's what I'm doing. Are you muted?
I was muted. Who writes the lyrics? You, Jake?
Mixed, I would say.
Yes, I love the the relationship that we have musically, because he not all the time. Sometimes he's got either a full set of lyrics written that he'll sort of let me tweak, or sometimes he sends me just a blank piece of music and says, make this into a song. And I love that. I love that process, that trust, and it's just worked out so well so far that it's just something I look forward to. I think he sometimes possibly has a little bit of fear when my lyrics come in, because
Not really.
in the last decade or so, my lyrics have taken a bit of a pointed turn, with what goes on in this country politically. I don't know if anyone notices, but
I read about
they've
that on
gotten
your Facebook. Yeah.
a little bit pointed. Yeah, my wife thinks that she's amazed I haven't completely shot myself in the foot with the things that I say. But oh my gosh, I just can't. It's just who I am. I can't stay quiet when there's so much going on that I disagree with, or that I'm afraid about, or just gotta speak up. And so I try to keep it on a level that Frank can stand, because I realize that our music is not just, or even primarily, for the American audience. It's for the whole world. So I've got to work on keeping it neutral if I can. But I just love the fact that he lets me do that. And it's a relationship that I think that we've refined over the years, and it just happens automatically at this point. And I really look forward to every new project. And as far as what I'm doing, both of the bands that I'm in are in the exact same position. They both put albums out this year, so they're both in the process of working on the next album. So it's a pretty exciting time.
Right.
Please let me add that I'm pretty much in agreement with Jake and his position to what's going on in the world. And it's not only about problems in the US, but you could also look at what's happening in Russia, for example, or happening in Syria. Or so you couldn't. So it's better we stop on that. But we really have an agreement there. The only difference might be that I'm maybe not as drastic.
Yeah.
But we had a song written together, Mad Kings, actually, and I came up with the idea of having a song about the Mad Kings, which are ruling the world right now. So and then you brought in all your lyrics and so on, and there was a moment where I say, could we make it a bit less drastic? But overall, we have an agreement there. So that's not a point, really.
Yeah. No, not at all.
We also have some Mad Kings here in Latin America, just in case.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I didn't want to close the conversation without mentioning Frank and Jake, that personally and in Chile we admire two big legends from Germany, and they are Klaus Schulze and Manuel Getsching, whom I could personally meet, and I could interview Klaus Schulze back in the 90s, and they are so huge in the music legacy, especially in the electronic scene. So I don't know if you like the music or not, but I'm a big fan. So I wanted to mention now, since you are from Germany. So and I also have a nice friend, drummer, Harald Grobschkow, who's been involved in so many projects. So there's so much great music in Germany. There's been all the time Grobschnitt, one of the greatest bands in Germany. Yeah. So if you want to say something else.
No, I mean, when I was young, I also had all this stuff from Klaus Schulze, for example. So I was also very much into electronic because I'm a keyboarder. So Larry Fast from the US was something I listened to. Klaus Schulze, and quite some more stuff from IC, Innovative Communication. And believe it or not, I was on that label with my electronic stuff, but you won't find it because I had a pseudonym that there, and I can't open this up. I even made a record of a quite famous IC band. No, I don't. I can't open that up because I did several records for innovative
Wow.
communication, but you won't find me there. So it's very different music, and and I should stop talking about it.
Yeah, there's one, there's one innovative communication album that comes to my mind that I really love, and it's Clara Monshine's Memory Metropolis. That's a fantastic album. And
Okay.
so Peacock, Thomas Betzler, that we've been exchanging some messages. So yeah, it was a great label. So I'm amazed to know that you were there on that label. Originally managed by Mr. Schulze, by the way.
By Mr. Schulze, right. And then Mark Zakowski and Michael Weiser took over, and it turned out a bit problematic, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I don't know if they still exist. Maybe the distribution company. So the distribution company itself did some nasty things, I turned out. So produced a lot of records somewhere else and didn't let the musicians know about it. But that's a different story. Maybe we should cut that out anyhow.
Yeah. No, I won't. Sorry. Let's tell people watching this where they can find the music of Legacy Pilots and Jake. I suppose we should mention Bandcamp. Just for Kicks is the website for ordering CDs, I guess.
Yes, Bandcamp is not serving in this case is not serving South America and Asia. No. But Just for Kicks is doing that. So if someone is, because not everyone has nowadays a CD player anymore. So and if they want to support a band like Legacy Pilots or Jake's project, it's also fine if they could buy at a digital version of our music at Bandcamp. So you not only can buy CDs at Bandcamp, but you can also buy digital albums at Bandcamp. It comes with a PDF of the cover and so on and so forth. So you can buy also digital there. You can of course buy at iTunes as well, digital. But if you want to have a CD, you have to go Just for Kicks Music here in Germany. That's a distributor who is serving on a worldwide basis.
Okay, Jake, anything to mention in this regard?
Oh, this kind of stuff just passes in one ear and out the other. I have names and things like that, but I don't have them in front of me. I'm sorry, I don't really have anything to add to that part.
Okay.
I'll pass that to Frank. he's the one there.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's
Frank.
No, it's already mentioned. What I can mention, I have done already. So it's if someone from South America is really eager to support the bands, then it would be either through the distributor of Just for Kicks or through Bandcamp Digital. That would be very much welcomed. Sure.
I do hope that you can maybe come down one day. Who knows? If you have a strong basis here, who knows?
Never say never.
Never say never.
I would love to come there with a band and playing in front of a handful of people.
It would be more than a handful, I guess. Really,
I'm in. Just saying.
Yeah, you're invited too. The music you're making is really something else. I'm being very honest, and it doesn't always happen to me, and it hasn't happened to me in the last 20 years because
Really?
I love all your favorite bands as well, but I think there are too many bands these days that don't make me feel moved or touched at all, and it sounds there's so much resonance from other things that it's not the case of Legacy Pilots, which might have all the influence we know you have, but you make such different. You have your own distinctive sound and personality, and that's what makes you very big. This is my opinion. So thanks for the time. It is very interesting to share with you, to hear your stories, opinions, And well, hope it's not the last time. And I wish you all the good luck, because you deserve the best in the music scene today, even being so difficult and so wide. You will eventually reach those kids, and they will realize that you're making something that will be remembered in many, many years to come. So thanks again for everything.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
Go Chile.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Christian. Thanks for having us. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we will talk again and see us again.
Hopefully
Yeah?
so. Yeah.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Same
You
to you,
too.
man.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Bye-bye.
Take good care.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.